probably should have checked to make sure this update to OBS didn't change any of my settings, but I already hit the stream button, and I don't want to unhit it. But network's doing fine, so I'm going to go ahead and just move along. From what I can recall, we're saving the nerdy scientist guy from a murder he didn't do with his teleportation machine, or, you know, whatever the thing was called, electric telekinesis, I don't know what the hell he called it. But it wasn't real. We learned it was a trap devised and sabotaged by some third-party magician/scientist. Which, that doesn't sound too far-fetched. Because sometimes magic can be a science. But anyway. So yeah. Let's go ahead and see if we can't figure out what the hell happened with that teleportation machine. Telekinetic? I don't know. Anyway, let's talk to Susato, because we just got her back. 23rd October, 2:41 p.m., Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Oh, this room, it's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you'd left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true. So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father? Yes. Ooh, I keep forgetting about you. Sorry, 1 second. You go off to the side. Yes, Professor Mikotoba, I mean. It was half a year ago, but that's why you went back. Oh, what? Sorry. Yeah, Professor Mikotoba. I gotta pay more attention. Focus. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right! So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. Yeah, okay. Why so melancholy? I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic... That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh! Hey, Mochi, how you doing? Hey, what does that say? You're watching without audio. Well, then you're not going to be able to hear me. Well, I don't know. I can wave. Hi! Welcome in, Mochi. I hope you're doing well tonight. You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Thank you for the Zoidberg. Have you muted because I'm at the new guy's house. Nice, okay. Fair enough. You do you. Thumbs up. Best wishes. You're gonna do great. I don't know how to sign that, but thumbs up. You. Thumbs you. Anyway. Yes, of course I shall. And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma. It's a secret. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. Yay! We get to learn more about what the hell he was doing, but apparently that's last on the list, so let's talk about Britain first, I suppose. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh yeah, for the murder of Giselle Brett. Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it! Don't you, Runo? Yeah, I suppose so. I want to play at being a lawyer now! I could wear a false mustache, maybe! I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. Wow, and they put 10 years old in frickin' red. Clearly it's gonna be super important, I suppose. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with the convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be, then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. Boy, I'm out of breath real fast. Holy crap. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie! It's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there. Does that mean you're going to tell me how you knew about the Hound of the Baskervilles in the first game? That's still a question that's sitting there, unanswered, I might add. I would like it answered. I guess next is science. What's new in science in the year 1901, or whatever this is? Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium, too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic science in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder. Ah, yeah, I'm trying to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. I often try to turn accusations of murder into positive turning points in my life, too, so I get that. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, his father was invited to the symposium. He agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General. The most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally then, I wonder? $10 says he knows Van Zieks too. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. How trying for you. Giselle Brett was the bitch that killed Watson, right? Giselle Brett. A woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist? But how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. A front? Who on earth was she, then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. A Shin. Who on earth was she? Something tells me we're going to find out in up to 2 more episodes. I don't think we're going to find out in this one, though. Maybe we will. I don't know. We still have the other half of this chapter to do, and then there's 2 more chapters after that, I think. I'm not an expert. I don't recall exactly, but that's what I think. Anyway. And why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? A Shin! Is she in the... Is someone named Shin People? People Shin? Boy, I'm talking terribly right now. No. It's probably something to do with him. No, I'm kidding. I don't know a Shin, right? No. Test spells was what I was thinking, but no. That's Lune, and that's Bohemian Boy. That's just his name, Bohemian Boy. I hope we get to talk as him again. I like his voice. Also, juror number 4. I miss him. Alright, tell me what you know about Kazuma. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. Oh. I forgot what voice I gave him, but I know I gave him... like that surfer dude voice, I think? I can't remember. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Something like that. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. And what did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared. What? Kazuma's body vanished? Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except, Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. What is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? The Kazuma mystery. Well, we for sure know he's dead at least, so that's the only mystery I'm not too worried about. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Buria were definitely strange. Considering that he just died from being pushed. Like, obviously I know you can die if you get pushed and land on something wrong. Like, that makes sense, I get that, but... I don't know. Just seems odd. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me. So very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. Ah, you're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I don't know, it is Sholmes. I wouldn't put it past him, you know? I suppose that's true, yes. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it, because if it turned out not to be true... then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking about, after all. She's totally into that Kazuma guy. I don't know how she ends up with Naruhodo. You know, banging and giving birth to Phoenix. Somewhere down the line. So I probably shouldn't push it now. She's still not telling you the truth about everything. How'd she know? How'd she know the story's name? Still waiting on that one. But I guess we're done talking, so... maybe if I present her with something? What do you know about this? Can you tell me about this? About this paper, Miss Susato. Yes, it's all about the great exhibition. I've been dreaming about it, you know. I was sorry that you were going to miss it when you were called back to Japan. So was I. I felt desperately unlucky. But here I am, back in London while it's underway. It's a dream come true. Perhaps you're not as unlucky as you thought, then. Once we've helped Professor Harebrained out of this terrible situation, we should all explore it together. And of course we must invite the Professor's good friend Lord Van Zieks as well. Your luck might not stretch that far. That doesn't tell me where I need to go. Alright, whatever, I'm just gonna guess. Well, I can't move. Okay. The move is not an option. I gotta present her with more shit, apparently. What would she know about? What would she even want to talk about? You wanna talk about Kazuma's armband? You're still taking good care of that armband, I see. I'm so pleased. Well, yeah, it feels like I wouldn't be me without it now, to be honest. Oh dear, there seems to be a thread coming loose just there. Look. I'd be only too happy to mend it for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, thank you. I must have scraped it against something again. I'm always doing that. Then take better care of it, please. It was all going so well until I ruined it. It's the story of my life, man. It's always going so well until I ruin it, which is usually like every half hour. Do you want to talk about this picture? Okay, I'm assuming since he wasn't specific, it's trash. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip this. I'm not gonna voice this. Okay, well, what do you want to see then? I showed you the two things. Where do I move to? Do I examine? Why would I examine in here? Oh. Is it because you're standing right there staring? It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles. Then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. And frickin' Susato, why are we not asking her about this? But for some reason, you knew finally. You knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it, you psychic bitch. Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh! I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. Finally! Question I've had for a long freaking time. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. What? My Baskerville story! Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time, but Father came in and...
Susanoo, what are you doing?
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand?
Wow, doing that voice itches my nose. Holy crap. Because I need to shave my mustache. But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still, I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie, even though it took you forever. Lying bitch. I'm kidding. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well. So, you're finally abreast of the situation already, Mr. Zato. I expected nothing less, to be honest. I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that we used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yeah, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him. Well, yeah, he must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man. It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down, which is a job for the police, or a great detective. Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? I'm not gonna bet money on it. We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea! Well, best of luck then! Oh, you're not coming today? I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you? Right, there's only room for one female sidekick for this lawyer, apparently. That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. Alright, move. A new location has been added. Is it the herb market? Because that would be kind of funny. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go to find... what's-his-face? Drebber. Let's see what's going on in Sholmes' house. Nothing. Alright, Lord Chief Justice's office. Let's go. Maybe he knows where we can find this Drebber. Okay, there's a woman in here. 23rd October, British Supreme Court. Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder. I've never seen her before. Oh, they noticed me. Hi. Don't mind me. I'm just the random Japanese guy hanging out in here. I forgot what voice I gave this guy to. God damn. I hate how terrible my memory is. Oh, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh. You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh, dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time.
It's scrap metal now, is it? Ideas? Anyone? Fucking... I'm tempted to try female Russian, but I'm not gonna get that right. Fuck. Until then, Lord Strongheart. I don't fucking know. That was more guy than girl. I gotta figure out how to inject some more girl in there, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
Can you say guilty later? That chick's guilty later. Who was that?
That was Dr. Courtney Side, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact.
Oh, I see, about Mr. Assman. Assman.
Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensics laboratory.
Ah, right, you know, that place I've been to many times, I guess. Do you have, like, a left or right out of the door? Okay.
Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time.
So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. 7 minutes. Okay. What do I have? What do you want to talk about? What can we talk about for 7 minutes? Yeah, your team. Tell me about your team. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before?
The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean?
For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the files of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future.
With those eyes, he means every word. They're almost blending in with the rest of his eye. If that little black circle wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Oh, yes, my lord?
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean?
It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well.
Alright, well, I guess if we can fit that in 7 minutes, let's fit this in 7 minutes.
If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago, in fact.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jikoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way.
Yeah, no, okay, I get you. No, that was a close one. I was about to be offended and shit, but I didn't think that you were.
Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
Of course, everyone's connected in some way. Then, Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years. So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh. Perhaps Father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Well. Well, I didn't read that part. That just came out of my mouth. Clearly something was going on at the time. Alright, tell me about our best bud, Van Zieks. I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right?
You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper.
What? Why?
When his brother Clint Van Zieks was murdered, it was just after young Barrack had graduated from the University of London and became a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barrack Van Zieks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word! So Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper. It's the ghost of his brother?
Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles.
Oh yes, Lord Strongheart.
Go ahead.
It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Good, yes, no, please, wind your clock, that's important.
Are you well versed in science, then?
Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently.
Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Sai's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing.
Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing. And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand.
Aye, aye, Chief. Let's get the hell out of here. A new location! Wait, whoa. Oh, the forensics lab, right. That's where we're going to talk to What's-Her-Face and look at the wreckage of What's-Its-Thing. Let's go talk to Harebrain. And he's working on his hypothesis. I guess that's to be expected. 23rd October, local prison, cell 11. What's he doing? Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady? My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner! None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Harebrain? What have you been working on in your cell? Oh! You mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The walls was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? That's what it was called, instantaneous kinesis. I got it now. Ah, no, actually, this is my autobiography. Your autobiography? How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Albert Harebrain. I'm gonna recommend he run that one past the editors first before he sends that one to print. How I Was Diddled and Fiddled. That definitely wouldn't fly in today's book market, I'm pretty sure. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the Kinesis machine, you see? So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1, An Odd Birth, An Odd Upbringing. Can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled by the pair of them. Phrasing. Harebrain. Phrasing. By Asman, and by that aloof engineer, Drebber. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Alright, well, tell me how you were diddled and or fiddled. Will you, please? This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, the Kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Barrick did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barrick wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? We're gonna have to go talk to him about that. I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. So, there we go. What was his motivation? Please do tell us, because it seems like he wanted to get you sent to the gallows where you were going to die. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barrick, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barrick insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? Well, tell me about Assman. Assman. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? Sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so emphatic. But in reality... Oh, But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it, it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asmund is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Alright, tell me about this Drebber. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asmund first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the Kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the Kinesis machine, nothing else. Although, just once, I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. Might be a place to start. Yeah. Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Alright, directions. Left, right, let's go. So you've been to Drebber's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand? It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the Kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best, a special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Mr. Zato? Ode a machine for your next birthday? I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example? The man was clearly very cautious, Mr. Zato. I'm sure he would never have... Aha! Yes, I do! He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look! What? Let me see that. Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you? Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No. Oh, well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Right in the old court record there. Welp. I'm gonna look at that real quick. Don't mind if I do. It's got a little cross. Oh, it's a plus and minus. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Ah, yeah, possibly. Professor Harebrained mentioned something about the oil Mr. Trevor uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. It's just, I'm sorry, that's just what I imagined her doing. It's supposed to have a really strong scent, just give me a second. Nope. Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. Cool. I was gonna say we should probably apply some electricity to this plus and minus just to see what happens to this card. But, cool. Alright, I guess that's all we're getting out of you, buddy. Unless... no, there's nothing I can present to him right now, right? I'm not compelled to, so I don't think I need to. For now, let's move to the stage and see if there's anything new there. (23rd October). The Great Exhibition Grounds. Foot of the Crystal Tower. Sounds like something right out of a Final Fantasy game still. Oh, good, it's Gina. I mean, Gina. I can never get her voice right, though. Ugh. I had no idea there were so many people in the world. I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point. Has it? I shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest. Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo. There you are. Oh, God. I can't get her voice right. There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long. Oh, it's Gregson. Never mind. I like Gregson. He's easy. Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at work, as usual.
Warm greetings, dear. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met.
What's with all this ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning.
Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side.
Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. Might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guessed, we're hoping to investigate the scene some more.
Right. Well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina!
She seems to be busy playing with a puppy. Probably giving it a traditional East End training. China? She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it?
She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yup, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely.
What do you mean?
I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see you. We'll come to see how you're getting along.
Not likely, but you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is.
To France?
I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley.
But France? It's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there?
That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intended to take the kid with me when I go.
What? You're taking Gina to Paris?
Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'd become of her?
I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper. Oh, of course, right, that's a thing. She was on trial once, I remember. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it?
Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me?
No, of course not.
I gotta keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
Oi, did you just call me a bloomin' diva, diving diva again? I can't get her voice. I'm sorry, I can't fucking do her. I don't know why.
So you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put them to my capable detective diva here.
Alright, you heard the boss. Inspector Lestrade's in charge here now. I suppose I'd better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you've got a new dog, have you? Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable. Yes, the dog does seem lovely. But it's the not-so-lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. Alright, Gina, let's chat. I don't know why that switched immediately, but let's investigate the scene instead of investigate the scene. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, yeah, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Ah, yes, Toby. His voice lines are clearly in the game, so I'm not gonna go ahead and do his. The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind... Sorry, I can't go up there, Suze. Oh! It's like I told Otto yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one! That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The Forensic something? The Forensic Investigation Team? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one, yeah! But isn't it the case that the Special Dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strain something? I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps? That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something. Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart. Ah, you what? You've met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him, he waited for 3 hours at the Cove's office and came back sniveling. Tragic. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly. Scout's honor. Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this is above board, are you? I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic. Alright then, them's the stairs. Off you go. Oh, thank you, Gina. I'm still being tempted to use Gina, because I'm pretty sure that's how it's actually pronounced, but Gina is just so much fun. How could I not go with Gina? I have to fight myself to say Gina, though. It was great, wasn't it? I had a right laugh. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying I'm about to be found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and Otto's made things off of me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching someone else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that Dodgy Professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. The Dodgy Professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yeah, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. Yeah, me too. It's the boss I feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest at a cove, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber? That's the one, yeah! So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. Wait, when did we learn he has a black monocle? Who told us that? Hairbrain might have, I guess. I don't know. It's putting too much on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him a gut ache. Are you sure it's not all the fish and chips he's eating? Oh dear, but I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fry... Okay. Am I writing this game? I don't think I'm writing this game, but I'm writing this game. The engineer's whereabouts. Lay it on us. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they had any luck. He's really funny looking. Got two eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry, who? You know, that scowling reaper what's always glugging down glasses of that blood-red plonk. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. He's always had it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. Should rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee? The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Glad we put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, if everyone at the yard's dead set on finding a fishy engineer, but there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all? What about Toby the dog? I don't know. Not expecting much from this one, but we'll see. Technically, the cat in the last one was helpful. Well, kinda. I just like the cat in the last one. Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina? Oi! Don't be so flaming rude, Otto! Slight overreaction, don't you think? He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how'd they put it? Oh yeah, bona fide detective. Sorry? I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Ooh, so he's a police dog, is he? Police recruit dogs now? I've heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all. I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't. That's nothing compared to this little fellow, Otto. Oh, really? I'm really good at underwear, though. Really good, Gina. Don't you doubt me. According to what the boss said, once Toby has got a good whiff of your drawers, he could chase that scent to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? Mr. Naruhodo, you're giving me a fucking migraine. I mean, Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Otto, there's gonna be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. Yes, I agree. Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way round. Oh dear, sorry, Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby here is Britain's first police dog. I found him down to East End the other day. Someone had just tucked him out on the street. There you go, I knew she'd lifted him from somewhere. Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. Okay, cool. Now that we've finished with Gina, can we go up? Not like that. Move. Can we go to the stage from here? Yes, we can. Cool. Wait, we're at the stage. How do I get to the... How do I get to the up stage? How do I... Do I just click this? These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out. Okay, there we go. Figured it out. Got it. Don't worry. I am on top of this. Boy, it is a mess up here still. 23rd October, the Great Exhibition Grounds, experimentation stage. Oh my, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrained went to in order to obtain the research grant. No, the professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing, though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. I feel like there's a joke there that I'm missing. Oh, look, is that? What are you doing up here, Zeeks? Lord Van Zeeks? So, I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mr. Sato? Already? He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think. But we have permission to be here, from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything. From the top, do you mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like. She could have been at the center of the explosion here, and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. Alright, let's poke him, because that's what I want to do first. Hey, Zeeks. Ugh. Least approachable man in the world winner, 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistants stand firm beside you. Behind you. Not even beside. They're behind me. Side. Whatever. Lord Van Zeeks? What? Well... Beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate. On the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. That's a good point, actually. Never mind. State your business, then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zeeks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. It's a very good point. It's a life lesson that people can learn. I need to learn more about that. Your brother Clint. Yes, let's bring up his dead brother. So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zeeks. You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zeeks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? And I guess it was only time until it involved Moriarty, right? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it, then? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Ugh, you're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zeeks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tussbill's Museum of Waxwork by any chance?
I am, naturally, and I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there, for public scorn.
Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place, and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork? Which... wait, you mean...
Yes, it's the Professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak.
I wasn't aware of that.
He's turned as white as a sheet. Why is there no option to, like, tell me fucking more? Okay, anyway. Tell us about this other guy. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already?
Surely that goes without saying.
We're very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Harebrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but we'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns.
Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago.
That's a man?
Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time.
How did he not notice someone with a giant camera in his face that close to him? Like, cameras are still relatively new inventions in this age, right? And it was like right up against his face, but he was like, no, I'm just going to keep walking straight. I'm just going to ignore this futuristic technology. Anyway.
What?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us.
We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph?
What is it about Lord Van Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. The photograph of Drebber has been entered into the court record. Which means, the next chance I get, I'm going right in. Oh, right, his little sidekick. I forgot about him. Alright, let's look at this. Photograph of print of the engineer. Hard to make out, but he appears to be wearing a monocle with black glass. He's got a little plus here. He probably has a minus on the other side, I'm willing to bet. Boy. His cheeks are sunken in. They gotta be really sunken in now. But it's on his right eye with a top hat. Long hair. What's this figure here? Gonna be important? I don't know. But nothing stands out right now, but I'm sure it will in court. So for now, we're gonna leave it alone. What is up, mystery boy?
Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you.
You alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Ziek's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too. Lord Van Zieks? May we speak with your apprentice for a moment?
With him? Why?
Kazuma-sama? Did he forget who he is? Is that the route they're going? He lived. Sholmes kept his death, or his survival a secret, but he's got fucking amnesia. That's the word I'm thinking of. Fucking amnesia.
Kazuma?
don't believe it. Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? But wait! Too late.
What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something.
Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor.
But he didn't tell you why, did he?
The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia?
Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side.
What?
He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders.
He'll be in court with us?
Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I definitely saw a reaction there. Susato-san called out like that. It really seemed to hit a nerve. She called out Kazuma-sama. Alright. Let me examine the actual machine. What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast. And what they call the birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. It looks as though it's designed to open. It does, doesn't it? The floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred. The birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Nope, not at all. There's really not much else to look at. Let's look at this, sure. Oh, this is the birdcage. This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrain said in court, it's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work. But sadly, not with the body inside it. No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. We're just gonna lift this birdcage, put it in our pocket. Don't mind us. I'm gonna walk out of here with a really weird limp, but that's just because I have back problems, not because I had this giant birdcage sticking out of my back pocket. The wooden cage that was used for Professor Harebrain's experiment, this cage with the victim inside, crashed down to the crystal tower. Did it though? Did it though? I don't think it did. Oh, is that everything we needed to do here, I guess? You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zeek's office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that.
You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly.
If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we could do without that. Yikes. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Miss Susato. Of course. Hey, it's Jaina. I don't need to talk to you right now. Let's look at this birdcage. What is this? What is this? Ah, look here, Miss Susato. Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height? Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. Leaving the man inside tragically dead. Okay. Is that all I had to examine? Cool. Well, I'm glad that was so fast and efficient. Alright, Jaina. Good to see you, but we're leaving. We gotta go talk to Sholmes about lying to us. I think he should still be at the exhibit, right? I mean, he was an exhibit last time. This guy was also an exhibit. 23rd October, Madame Tuspells. Oh, I love her. She's my favorite. Oh my, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery. Well, at least you have priorities straight. Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but... there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere. That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. No, let's talk to Madame Tuspells. I wanna talk to her. She's so pretty. Crazy lady. I forgot what she is, but I'm not gonna examine it if I don't have to. Jack the Ripper, I'm assuming. But we can't go to the main one over here, can we? Ah yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you? The sign says it's the Madame Tuspells special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside. I know, can you believe that? Pay more money? As if we haven't been scared enough already. Holy crap. Norman, hey, how you doing? Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm just playing some more Ace Attorney and struggling with my voices, as usual, but, you know, such as these things go. Venom, hey, how you doing? How's your night going? Or day, or afternoon, or wherever the hell you're located. Let me give you a quick shout-out, sir. What's my command again? Right. Shout-out at Norman. Okay. You just finished this one? Awesome, congratulations. I hope it was good. No, don't spoil it for me, but I'm still hoping it's good. Also, well, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that isn't. Whatever. No spoilers need to be discussed, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it, because I'm still on the second investigation, and I still have the second half of the trial to do, I assume, but, you know. Doing great, Venom? Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And Norman, did you just finish this and then stop, or did you make it to, like, did you start the next one? I'm honestly enjoying this one. I'm just struggling to nail a voice for Jaina Lestrade, and Lord Strongheart. I can't figure their voices out. And then there's the apparently I'm gonna visit a chick with white hair in a second, but I'm gonna struggle to find her voice too. I don't know. You're gonna start it tomorrow? Okay, fair enough. I hope this one had a few good cliffhangers for the next episode. Usually they do, which is what makes them fun. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. How was your weekend, guys? Like, what have you been up to? Did you do anything fun over the weekend, or did you just take it easy? Did you just relax and chill? I had a busy-ass weekend, so I was non-stop. Like, Friday was a concert, Saturday went to lunch and played a bunch of board games, and then Sunday was Well, my friends are big on football. I don't know if you guys are from America, but you know they have their big football thing, and every Sunday they just kind of go wild. So Sundays can get quite hectic. But please, I'd love to hear how you guys are doing. Um, for now, apparently it's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo. I can't open the curtain. Alright, whatever. At least the old guy's not sleeping there anymore. But I wanted to talk to Madame Tusspell. She's so pretty. I'm gonna go to the forensics laboratory. 23rd October, forensics laboratory. I like it already. It's got a nice feng shui to it, especially with the skeleton and the owl and the skull in the jar and the axe, or not the axe, the saw, organs. It's very dark, very horror-esque, and I love it. What? I was just streaming games as usual, like every day. Damn, you stream every day? Props to you, dude. I wish I could do that, but there's a combination of like real life stuff I gotta take care of, and then sometimes I'm just like mentally not in the space for it. But I had a vacation last week, so now I'm back, and I'm gonna try to do at least 4 streams this week to make up for the absence, and for the fact that I wasn't able to do my 37-hour Resident Evil marathon. Really disappointed in that. Very rare when I cannot stream due to work. Really, that's awesome. I mean, what do you do for work that gives you spare time to stream every day? If you don't mind me asking. Obviously, you don't have to, um, and I respect that completely. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's laboratory. The chemical smell really assaults the nose. And there's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Miss Susato. Could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Okay, well, apparently the story here is just examine everything, which, you know, we're going to do either way. DevOps? I'm not sure what that is, honestly. I mean, sorry, my name can be nicknamed as Dev, so DevOps does kind of strike me as funny. Like, do you work on me? Are you one of the people in my head trying to pull the levers? Because if so, if you pull that intelligence lever for me, because I really need that once in a while. But no, I've never heard of DevOps before. Is it like a military thing? Let's look at the owl. I like the owl. That looks like an owl and a crow up there. I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Daruma doll on a display in the office instead. Okay, well, apparently the owl's not important, but I argue that it is. Because it's an owl. Owls are cute. Alright, let's look at the desk. I wanted to look at the box. Maybe there was something from the Baskervilles in there, but we don't know that yet. Literally, I'm covering any IT job that is needed right now for my company. Developer, QA, network engineer. Ah, okay. That's awesome. That I can see why you have time to stream sometimes then. Like if there's no emergencies going on that you're needed for, yeah. Still, that sounds cool. I mean, I love technical stuff. I have to work with customers sometimes, so I'm not very passionate about my job, but you know, the technical side of things is always fun for me, in my opinion, anyway. But you know, to each their own. Still, a job that lets you have enough free time to stream frequently is awesome. Look at this big, thick book here. Sorry, my mind lives in the gutter, so big, thick didn't end in book in my head, but we're not gonna go into that. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of forensic investigation team spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. 500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too. It does seem a bit strange. You're right. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using all them for? That's a lot of scalpels. Oh. Oh, God. Well, I always work only with customer. Oh, I see. Okay. So your company kind of works third party to a bunch of other companies, and they send you where you need to go. I guess that makes sense. At least that's what I'm interpreting. That are any other IT companies, so I am simply working from home and don't spend... Oh! So you just connect to these companies. Got it. Remotely. Just log in, do your work from your comfort of your home. I don't leave my bed. My bed's right over there, and when I work, I don't leave it. I just kind of roll over in the mornings, log in, and then start working. It's pretty nice. Like, I understand the appeal of working from home, but I do miss, like... I do miss my coworkers sometimes. Like, before the whole world got locked down. Like, I had some cool coworkers. We would go for drinks after work sometimes, or... It was just fun to socialize with them. I feel now I've become very, like, introverted and antisocial. I don't really talk to anyone outside of my roommates sometimes, which concerns me a little bit, but I do talk to you guys, and I'm counting it, because you guys live, you know, wherever. So I'm assuming that this here is the voice of the lady that I thought I was going to have trouble with. Maybe I'll make her German. I want to do more than just Bohemian Boy. And Bohemian Boy is a little boy. Can I do a girl German? I don't know if I can do a girl German. You never know until you try, right? Let's see. What are you doing? Maybe. She doesn't exactly look German, though. She looks more like evil Russian, and I don't even think I can do regular Russian. Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... This boy speaks the same accent I have. Which one? This chick here? The German? The German accent with the voice and the things? So you thought you'd stoop around? That's acceptable.
Damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory.
Damn it, Allegory!
Damn it, Allegory!
Damn it, Allegory!
God damn it, Allegory!
Damn it, Allegory.
God damn it, Allegory.
I love that. But thank you so much for the follow, Venom. I really appreciate that. You are the man. I recognize it immediately. Oh, Bohemian. Oh, with the V instead of W and Z instead of the. Yeah. And I try to put the Z instead of the S's too, because I feel like that's a little more accurate. But I just love that voice and that dialect, you know? It's really cool. It's really fun. So you thought you'd snoop around. That's acceptable for you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body? Mr. Assman's body. Assman. That's always funny. No problem. But awesome, Venom. I'm assuming you're watching Norman play through this too. Are you having fun with it? Like, do you enjoy watching Ace Attorney games? Have you played Ace Attorney games? Are you a big fan of Ace Attorney games? I'm a huge fan of them. I'm playing these ones because they're the last ones that I know exist before I have nothing else to go through. So, you know, trying to enjoy it while it lasts, so to speak. When I don't pay attention, I stop saying TH sound in all the words. Really? I'm trying to think of an example. Like, instead of that, like down here, sorry, instead of this word here, that, you... Sorry, I love that Family Guy little gif. Oh, I really gotta make some more and like randomize it and get it up. I need to start expanding my channel if I really want it to grow. But thank you so much, Norman, for your second gift sub in the channel and giving it to Venom. I really appreciate that. You are an amazing person, sir. Thank you so much. And just to ask you a question, Norman, what you were saying is like in words like this here, I'm pointing at my screen like it matters, but I'm circling it with my mouse. Like this here, it would just disappear. Like instead of that, you would say like zat, which is really cool. I love it. And enjoy my... I don't have a lot of emotes, but I have a few of them, and I really love them. Especially the finger guns. I don't know if you have a chance, but you can go check out the finger guns one. It's my favorite. But anyway, when I was learning English, nobody told me that the TH sound exists. Well, that could make things a little difficult, so I understand. English is a ridiculous language. Like, everyone that speaks it as a second language, I like to ask them how difficult it was to really pick it up and learn. And the fact that they speak 2 languages blows my mind out of the water because I can barely speak the one. But, you know. Still, 2 languages. You're doing great. There it is. Fucking finger guns. Hell yeah. Wait. This way? That way. Finger guns. Anyway. But yes. Without realizing the TH sound exists, it could make it a little difficult. But you seem to have a total grasp on it from where I'm sitting. So, good for you, Norman. Venom, yes, a big fan, and I did enjoy. Good. Have you played them all yourself, or are you just kind of like taking the ride with Norman? Because if so, that's still cool, you know? There's some games out there that I like watching, not necessarily playing, but that's why I'm kind of thankful that this whole setup exists on Twitch, so. But yes, thank you for giving him the gift sub. I also love my little icons, but not a lot of people know what it's from, but it's okay. It's not a problem for me. Anyway, my priority was always Japanese when I was in university. That's fair. I'm not very successful at it, but I have downloaded like a few like apps on trying to learn different languages, but the ones I primarily focus on is Spanish, German, and I want to do Japanese so badly, but that one is such a deviation that I would have to dedicate a lot of focus to it. So, I want to learn it, but now's not the time for it, unfortunately. But how much? So English is not even your first foreign language. Damn. So, what was your first language, and then what's your first foreign language then? Because it seems like you speak 3 languages, and if so, that is even more impressive, sir. I will give you a clap for that because I struggle with that, but. You know, to each their own. It's cool. But I'm curious what your other ones are. I did play Ace Attorney, but not all of them. Understandable. There was a lot. There was some deviations, and then they had to kind of go back, and then they had to kind of expand. But it's okay. As long as you're enjoying, you know, what your friends are playing, like Norman here. And having fun, and chatting, and all that. That's all that matters. Did I not tell it on this channel yet? I don't think so. Your native language is Belarusian. Like Belarus, but Belarusian. Is that a language all in itself, or does it like... Okay, and then next you learned was Russian. Fair enough, okay. I assume they're closely related, kind of like North American Spanish and Spain Spanish. How they're closely related. Almost exact copies, but not totally, especially after how much time has passed. And then how much Spanish is kind of related to Italian, but it is more Western with many English words and German. Okay, so Belarusian, I don't know if it's Belarusian or Belarusian, I apologize, but Belarusian is like a mix of Russian and what you're saying is more Western stuff. But with Russian grammar. Yeah, exactly. So that's actually a great native language to have then, because it kind of... Like, I'm just assuming here, but it sounds like if you learn that first, it makes learning, like, Russian and other languages kind of easier. Western, I meant something like Polish. No, I know what you meant. Like, kind of Western in regards to, like, Europe. Like, Western Europe stuff. But not, like, completely Western Europe, I guess. Eastern Europe still? Okay. So Western from, like, Belarus's standpoint. Got it. I'm not the best on Eastern Europe geography. I'm not the best at Eastern Europe geography, African geography, South American geography, or the Pacific Island geography. Like, that all escapes me. So it's a lot of, like, small countries in many places. Here, are you gonna grab something real quick? Of course, take your time, Venom. I plan on going for another 2 hours at least. Trying to, anyway. But yeah, so with Belarusian, did you find it kind of easier to learn multiple other languages that were incorporated into your native, and then you just kind of expanded from there? Or am I just wrong? You can tell me I'm wrong. I won't be offended. It's always fun to get perspectives from other people. I love listening to people and hearing stories and experiences. I'm a big story kind of guy. That's why BioShock's my favorite video game. Like, I got the BioShock tattoos first because the storytelling in that game like blew me out of the water. Like, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone because I don't know if... I mean, I know it's like 15 years old now, but that twist... Oof, that was fire. That was fire. It was so lit. So in school I had German and Polish languages as well, but I was always bad in foreign languages, or any languages. That's understandable. In school I had Spanish classes, and my mom actually spoke Spanish fluently, but she never really taught it to me and my siblings. So, like, I could pick it up in school easily enough, but it never really stuck with me, and I never really used it, so I just have a really basic understanding, which is unfortunate. I would love to speak a second language, but we'll see. We'll see if I ever get around to that. But hell, if you're over here spouting 3 different languages, again, that's awesome. But you're never really good at them? Clearly you must have picked up a skill for it. German was my best by the marks, but now I barely can use it. Yeah, that's the downside of not using stuff you learn often enough, especially with foreign languages, because then it kind of... at some point it will fall. For me, I used to be able to code pretty well. Like, I went to classes in college where I coded in, like, C++ and C# and shit. But I haven't used that in so long, like, whew, it's like gone. I know the basics of coding, I just can't remember the language and how to do it anymore, so I'm bummed by that, but yeah. Which languages do you use the most now, Norman? I'm assuming English is one, because you are just typing away in English, but I assume maybe Belarusian as well, because you might be there. You think I can speak my native language now? Not anymore? Stop using it 15 years ago? Really? Does that happen? That's so unfortunate. Ah, English only now as I live in Texas. Okay. Well, welcome to the States. How long have you, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been in Texas? It is very hard to switch to it now. I would imagine. I mean, you do something long enough, you get set in your ways. Like, there's no real escaping it unless you try hard enough. Since 2017. Oh, nice. So you've been here about 5 years. Very cool. What brought you to the States, if you don't mind me asking? Obviously, I'm going to ask questions because I'm a curious guy, but feel free to tell me to shut up, and I will not take it personally. Still, very cool. And I don't blame you for Texas. Texas is significantly more affordable than where I live, but Texas has its own share of problems in the American landscape, but I don't think I need to go over that with you. By the way, 5 years ago, I was not even able to keep conversation in English. So you moved here, and then without being able to speak the language, you made a life for yourself. Is that what happened? God, that sounds so hard and intimidating and difficult, but at the same time, people like you actually do it and make it happen. I can't imagine what would push you. Like, obviously, I don't know your life story. I don't know if something bad happened and you came here to, like, get away from it or something. But that's such, like, a big change to make. It sounds scary, you know? I just relocated within company. Okay. So, you worked over there at the same company, and they moved you to Texas. Damn. And you were okay with that? You were just like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, weren't you worried at all, or scared about living in a new country without the language? I just wanted to live separate from parents. Yeah, Mom, Dad, I'm so tired of your frickin' rules, so, I'm moving. Where are you moving to, huh? Sweetheart, down the street? Like, no, I'm moving to another country. I'll see you guys later. That's a fantastic story. I like that. But congratulations, you did. You did it, and you seem to be doing amazingly, so good for you, dude. No, you never cared about language barriers? Boy, that's a great way to that's a great thing to have, is to not worry about that, because like, I'm always worried just to visit other countries, because like, if I can't talk to people, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, what did you do then? Did you have to like sign to people what you wanted until you learned it? Like, I want to go to Japan so badly, but I'm like, I should probably learn Japanese or something so I can talk to people. Although I did see that Google came out with like those earbuds that you put it in your ear and it translates languages in real time, which sounds amazing. That sounds like an awesome device for traveling, but that's why you started streaming to practice. That's an amazing reason to start streaming. That's so sorry. It hits me like that's so cool that you just took on streaming, which involves just essentially playing your favorite games and then chatting with anyone to practice your English. That's awesome, dude. I am loving your story, sir. Japanese is much easier than English for me. I don't have a lot of practice with Japanese, so I can't really say comment on that from my perspective, but are you talking about just like the speaking portion, or can you also write in Japanese as well? Because I thought the writing part would probably be a lot harder. Or am I don't feel like I'm mistaken, but I could be. I am okay being wrong. Let's say that. Whew, sorry. Speaking, of course. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, writing all the kanji and whatnot sounds super hard, but yeah, I really want to learn Japanese. I should probably give that one more of a shot. Especially if I want to go visit, but I also want to go visit Munich and celebrate Oktoberfest. But oh man, I got lots I want to do. Sorry, now I'm just like going on tangents in my head. Like my fucking attention is just all over the place now. You can write with their alphabet only. All games even don't use kanji since NES. Damn. But I thought I'm probably mistaken, but I thought I've seen like Japanese versions of like Super Mario or Resident Evil where it has Japanese characters. Is that not the same? It's alright. Well, thank you, Venom. I'm glad that you understandably find me going in different directions. It's not often I meet people with, like, the experience of moving to a completely different country and having to overcome, you know, those cultural barriers, those language barriers, all those kind of barriers, you know? But it's so cool when it works. Japanese characters consist of hiragana, katana, and kanji. Okay. So the ones in the games aren't kanji, they're the other two? Hiragana sounds familiar, but 10,000 plus kanji, and they came from China. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense then. Because I don't know what I'm seeing when I watch those videos anyway, but... Got it. That is what's hard to remember and learn. 10,000 characters? I would imagine. My language is 26 letters, and I still doesn't do it good. Ah, Hiragana, Katana, Common, that's super easy. Alright, that makes more sense. Did you, like, take a bunch of classes on Japanese in university, or was it, like, just a couple here and there as an elective? As, well, like, if you had a free spot, you just took a Japanese class. And you read exact as it wrote? No guessing like in English. Yeah, because English has a bunch of words that are ridiculous. Like read and read and lead and led and some that are just sound the same but mean completely different things, like need and need and need. Yeah, fucking... Ow. God. Sorry, 1 second. Man. Sorry, I've been getting splinters for like the past week, and this is like the next one that I just got from my desk. Oh, that is frustrating. Anyway, sorry. It was a subject, but I left university midway. I was in it only to avoid army until I was 27. That seems like a fair reason to stay in school. Like, I'm assuming you had to keep a certain amount of college classes and keep going to stay out of the army. So you filled it up with a bunch of Japanese. That's awesome. So I left it as soon as I could to spend more time on my work. Well, I'm glad that you were able to stick more to your Japanese than I have, because now I'm going to ask you lots of questions if I get confused. It was my second education anyway. I already finished the college. Damn. Okay. So you were essentially like doing it again just to avoid the army. Okay. Boy, you have an interesting story, my friend. It's really cool. That's a big splinter, isn't it? Whatever. My body will get it out. Just for this. Nice. I'm totally against any type of armies. Yeah, same here. Especially in this day and age when we have so much technology. Like, do people really need to be risking their lives? But the answer apparently is yes. But I know there's plenty of pacifists in the army too, like people that join up because they want the benefits, but they morally don't agree to killing. So usually they get positioned in like flying or you know, the medic field, like helping people heal and whatnot. So, oh my god, this is hurting me. Why did my desk bite me? You didn't have to be such an asshole like that, desk. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever join the army either. In my native country, armies is only for attack other countries or protect only politicians. No, it's okay. That's a totally fair way to look at it, because sometimes that's just how the armies work. They recruit the working class to protect, you know, the rich class. Unfortunately, that's kind of just how society works sometimes. But yeah, we don't have to talk about that. That's fine. Still, I'm just impressed with the whole language moving to another country thing. Like, very interesting story, sir. That it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings. On Lord Strongheart's advice. Gonna bother me. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation has revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. I can't tell if she's hot because she looks evil or not, but, you know. There are definitely females out there that are hot because they look evil. So, you want to know what your forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Ode Asmon, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and the Mr. Asmon who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower. Tower. Were, without question, one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true, but sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Fingerprints. They are not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us? I gotta put more female in this voice, honestly. But she's so evil. How do I do an evil female voice that sounds like Yaz and Vaz and Zaz? My team was tasked with the investigating, not drawing conclusions. That's not bad, I guess. And it is time for me to go to sleep. See ya. Alright, Norman, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for dropping by again. The raid was awesome, and thank you so much for the gift sub to Venom. I really appreciate it. And for sharing your story. That was really nice of you. I appreciate you opening up like that. It's a very... it's a very impressive story, I'll say that. I say that because it's something I wish I could do, but hesitate, because I'm always worried about a bunch of stuff. But knowing someone personally that did it, it gives me a little bit of hope. You know, maybe I can do it someday. But anyway, take care of yourself, Norman, and I hope to talk to you soon, sir. Or madam. I don't know. I don't like to assume. I shouldn't use pronouns until I'm sure. Anyway. Oh, Venom found my heart. Yeah, I love that one too. He's squeezing the heart. My friend Morrow made those. They're pretty adorable. I need to get her to make me some more. I just have to figure out what emotions I want them to convey. If you have any ideas, Venom, you are more than likely to yell them out to me. The finger gun ones, that was just natural. That had to happen. I usually do a lot of bad jokes, like a lot of bad dad jokes, so you gotta have the finger guns to help out with that. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. Indeed they are. Oh, hello. Mama, what is this? Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? This is a lawyer, dear. Oh! Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Ryunosuke Naro... Mama? Yes? Can I cut this one up? What? I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Boring. I think I just had a near-death experience. Oh dear, Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse. Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. But I wanted to look at more of her stuff. I assume I'm done because it just told me to leave and it kicked me out of examine mode. Alright, let's check out Tuspel, see if Sholmes is finally here. Nope, no Sholmes here. Is the Lord Chief here? I don't know where I'm going. Nope. I wanted to ask him about fucking Cosmo. Is anyone around for anything? No. Sure, what to do? What are we doing? Do you know? I honestly thought I might never have the opportunity to return to Great Britain. And certainly not so soon. It's funny, for the past 6 months I haven't been able to work in court. Meanwhile, you've been raising a storm in the Supreme Court of Judicature back in Japan. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, I may have been dressed as a man, but it was a very reserved performance. So what your father said in his letter about a Ryutaro takedown is reserved? Well, anyway, I'm back here in this great capital now. I'm ready to assist you again, in any way I can. Thank you, Miss Susato. It's my pleasure, Mr. Naruhodo. Alright, cool. That didn't tell me anything about where I need to go, what I need to do. That does help. Didn't help at all. Maybe prison. No, just a locked up scientist. I'll help you get out of there, buddy. At some point. Maybe I wasn't done here. Oh, I can't present or converse. Can I examine, though? Oh, I can examine her. Well, yeah, let's go. Sorry, that was inappropriate, and I apologize. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air? You either have to have a cast iron constitution, or a really terrible sense of smell. She's trying to be like, what about that book? Click on that book! Can I click on the book again? No, it's already done. Am I dumb? So, what are you doing at the moment, Doctor? Keeping a close eye on things so that not impertinent Easterners thinks they can look around my office. Are there such impertinent Easterners around? How terrible. Yes, you. She doesn't mince her words, Miss Susato. I think perhaps it's time we left. What the bitch? Where am I supposed to go? Okay, if anyone has any ideas right now, please let me know. Can I show Jaina something? Jaina, what do you think of this? Jaina, would you take a look at Oh, where'd it go? Looking for this, Otto? Did you just steal a giant cage out of my pocket? That means she doesn't have anything to say about this. Okay. Why'd that change again? Jaina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, yeah, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? Oh, am I repeating the same thing I read just a second ago? Oh, we can't look at the stage now, yeah. Can't you do anything, Jaina, in your capacity as inspector? Look, I'd like to help you out. I can't do her voice right, I'm sorry. I did remember Norman got lost here too. Did they? Oh, man. Well, where the hell am I supposed to go? If you know, please share. I am open to a little nudge in the right direction, you know? But I'm just a trainee, ain't I? Ain't nothing I can do. When it suits you, yes. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go fuck myself. Clap, 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 clap. Can't go here. But I want to go there. No, let's just change the thing. Well, Norman got lost in the coroner's office since he didn't examine most of the things. Really? Do I have to look at all the things down there? Everything I examine is just like, book or get out. Alright, I'll take more looks. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. Ugh, that's just worrying, because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has her meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. Okay. What else can I look at? Let's look at the skeleton. Oh, as for you, you need to present evidence to Jaina. Well, sure, you could take a look. Evidence to her. Okay, I gotta go check that out in a second then. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really are very skilled, aren't they? Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo? Miss Susato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope. I'll be sure to remember that from now on, you big fucking scaredy cat. Alright, but you said we gotta go to Jaina. Alright, let's go to Jaina. Let's go show him some show. I can't talk, apparently. Let's show her some shit. Oh! How's she seen this dude? Oh, no. She has nothing to say about this picture of the guy I'm looking for. Got it. What about this? No, I didn't want to look at it. I want to present it. There we go. About this, Jaina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I only know ADE, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble. Actually, Jaina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. God, I can't get her voice right unless it's missing the front letters. Unless it has me say ow or av or something. I can't get back into her. Okay, so I can't do whatever pitch she is. I'm lost on that. Usually I can nail down the accent though, but not right now. It turns out that this is very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent apparently. Oh, we need Toby. You don't say. Let's have a whiff of them. Let's have a whiff of it then. Okay, no, I need your dog. You sure? I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right, you mean Toby. Right, the dog. He voices his own lines, thankfully. His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he? Professor Harebrain informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that Dodgy Cove's workshop? There we go, Dodgy Cove's workshop. I need to remember that, to make sure I get back in the accent, at least. That's right, that's exactly what we were hoping. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... Wants a pickpocket. If I can lead everyone to the Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, China. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson. I don't know why, just China's such a better name. Right then, Otto, leave it to me. Sorry? We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, China. Oh. Right, oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss. Poor Gregson, again. Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, have ya? Come on then, boy. See you later. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Huh, get it? Because he's going to cross to follow the machine oil from France. It's funny. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber. I'm sure China and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yeah, it's quite possible he might know something useful. You're right. Especially after he kept, you know, that secret. We ought to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. Alright, let's move to Madame Tuspel's, where we get to see the lovely Madame Tuspel. 23rd October, Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxworks. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course. Susato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? Oh yeah, I have cinnamon rolls in my fridge. I should get one of those. Eek! What's the matter? Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. There's our good pal that lies to us. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself. Ooh, and there's Our Lady. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh, yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say, I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yeah. His habitual duties? Alos, do not disturb her. Poor Susato-san, she looks very perplexed. Well, I'm absolutely gonna disturb the fucking We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I am longing to say hello again. But where is he? Yeah, he's right there, ain't he? I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh! What are you... Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I! The world-famous great detective in waxwork, Herlock Sholmes. And she passed out. Susato-san. Yeah, the statue came to life, Susato. Sorry about that. My most humble apologies. I thought I'd died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London. Yeah, no one thinks that, I think. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand, though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today for that matter. His stomach does his own voice lines too. That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's a most modern invention allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. Let me guess. The true motive was to use the waxwork statue in the machine during the explosion, have it fall beneath the stage, and then the real body was shot out of the balloon into the tower. And the ransom was so no one would be suspicious of it being gone, and he intended to return it anyway. Boom. Okay, got it. Got it. I'm probably spot on, but hopefully not. I don't know. We'll see. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? A fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tuspels at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all. Poor Iris. Poor everyone. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Indeed I do. There's the one I want to know about, but we'll ask about Enoch Drebber first. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh. Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Hairbrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine. A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on. That's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least, I may be in a better position to help. Yes, Drebber's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it. Well, first let's talk about Kazuma. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship, your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today, the victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure. It was Kazuma-sama. She wants his babies, you know it. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Priceless. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? No. I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Thanks for not telling us the whole truth again, you dick. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber. The face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course, so looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting. This very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yeah, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it for a mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone? The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. Can never tell with you, that's the point. Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit waits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. Something tells me we just gave him 5 shillings, and then he told us to go break the rules and look behind the curtain. He's going to pocket that money, isn't he? I'm not seeing that money back. Whatever. Sholmes. He's a weirdo. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry. Through those heavy curtains at last. Well, go! Jesus, why are you waiting? 5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? No. Ah, we could ask China to retrieve it for us using her special skills. Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Diddling detectives. Fucking love that phrase still. I'd diddle Gregson all day. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or chip-loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. #23rd October. Madame Tuspel's special exhibit. Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Miss Susato, I say we turn on our heels and go straight home, via a really big confectionery. We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already. True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? Yes, we will get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration? It's making Susato-san's voice tremble. Number 139. That's going to be important, isn't it? This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor. Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood. The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. I know, it looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Sure. Are we looking at this number here? No. Why is the music so down right now? I guess we're just looking at the head. Oh, the missing head, rather. So this is the condemned man? Yes, the so-called professor. Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine. But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost. Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see? Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it? That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum. And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Would there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass. Quite a big piece, too. It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder? Says Ryunosuke, solving the murder case where it crashes into the Crystal Tower. So this was the body that crashed into the tower? Something weird going on here. Telling ya. About Dr. Scythe. Said the same body that was on the platform ended up in the Crystal Tower. But clearly this waxwork dummy went through the glass at the tower. But How did the body get to Dr. Scythe to be autopsied and examined? I don't know, this whole thing is just stinking to high heaven. I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength? But why? Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example. Ah, well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? Some of the glass was broken, too. You don't mean... Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition. Oh, okay, so he did put it together. Well, that's good. It's good, at least. I'm glad he's on the ball still. He's still keeping it rolling. But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxworks jacket? It makes you think, doesn't it? Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick, and now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? I would say no. Now let's examine this dude. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look. Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail. Are you not going to turn around? Oh, I can fucking move. Could I have moved on the other one? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Whatever. Examine everything. What a large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing with a shovel in a graveyard in the middle of the night? Miss Susato? Yes? That's a spade, isn't it? No, it's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel. No. Although, we haven't considered trowels. We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement. So we're going to bury the hatchet. You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh! Do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. That's because that was 10 years ago, right? Indeed it is. Oh. Cool. Now you actually want to put some context to it. God, this guy likes it. He has a flair for the dramatic, but I guess I can't really blame him. He is Sholmes, after all. Mr. Sholmes. This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is... Ow. Ow. Sorry, lips get dry, it starts flaking, I start picking at them without realizing it, and sometimes it like just pulls skin, and it's like, ugh. Makes me cringe, but I do it, and I hate it. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head tout suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ugh. I agree, dude. Just tell me. Do you know, though, something about this room? is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Miss Usato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Oh, finally, some stories, Jesus. It's like pulling teeth from this dude. The resurrecting convict, got it. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Oh gosh, an enormous hound. How awful. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty, and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. BRB, my guy, friends brought food? Absolutely, dude. You take your time, enjoy your dinner, sir. I'm about to have a snack myself. Right here. It's my stupid pill. That means in an hour, I'm going to get goofy, which is around the time the stream ends. So, cheers. It also helps me sleep, so. Finish streaming, get to bed. Oh. Alright. Oh! The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than... the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen? Please, tell me about this young witness. So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we've had of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yeah, what was he up to? The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No. That would mean Mr. Trevor must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Trevor's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Do I need to show you something now? What about this? Oh. Anything I can look at it? I guess. This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide. Yes, I've never seen anything like it. If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such thick skin. There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely. Yes, I think so too. It was probably made especially to meet the demands of that great structure. Okay. Nothing else on it? Cool. Got it. Let's present it. Mr. Sholmes, about this... As you will see, I'm rather busy at the moment. If it's advice you seek, come to my office tomorrow, and I shall be happy to help you. Shall we say, threepence per item as a consultation fee? It's 2 hours of gas, that is. This one? Oh, there we go. Odi Asman, yes, a fearsome adversary. What? You mean you fought him? I once infiltrated his criminal organization in order to investigate the man and his activities. But he saw through my disguise instantly. I still remember what the man said to me now. What was it? Whoever saw such a tall old lady? Old lady? Indeed, but my special disguise hasn't seen the light of day again since that humiliation. Mrs. Minicle is retired. Mrs. Minicle? I would give my right arm to see that. Do I get to ask about Mrs. Minicle? Who's Mrs. Minicle? No, I don't get to ask about Mrs. Minicle. What else do I need to show you? This? Mr. Sholmes, could you look at this photograph again? I see, so that's it. What, have you worked something out? There is indeed one deduction to be made from this photograph, yes. Each time you show it to me, it will cost you 5 shillings. Otherwise, I have nothing to add. Wonderful, and nothing for me to take away either. Dude, I'm just trying to show you something that gets the plot going, man. Okay, am I done with you? I guess I'm done with you. Except I'm not done with you. It's part of... I want to look around on the thing more. That's already examined. Let's examine this camera real quick. What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. A camera, but it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. There we go. By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken. What's a photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look. You should see yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? Alright, let's look at the back of that thing. Or not. Oh, it's Gina. What the bleeding Nora, Otto? What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? Wait, I noticed that you didn't get the camera, or is it just me? No, I didn't get the camera originally. So, yeah, I examined him again. We just grabbed it. I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so... So? Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tussbells will have to take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina. Alright, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that Dodgy Cove's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yep, Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then, see you there. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place in the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say, but if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mr. Zato. Right, let's go. That was quite funny. He was all sad for a second. You go, I'll be here. That's so good. Let me look at that camera real quick, though. Because, yeah, you just saw me pick it up. Now I needs to look at it. That's a lens. Oh. It opens, and there's blood. What a wonderful machine! You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible. Almost irresistible, surely. Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart. That's worrying. Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch. Poor Professor Mikotoba. I wonder who else is going to be poor at the end of this. Is that blood? Look, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? On the bellows, just here. There seem to be some very dark red stains. Yes, you're right. Looks like blood, actually. Oh my. I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Ha 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 ha. Updated camera. And then we gotta look at the plate, right? Oh look, the cover came open. Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see. Is something wrong? There is no plate. It's been removed. What a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated. Hey, well, we did find some blood. So, that's a good thing, right? Right? Alright, I guess I'll go fuck myself. I was hoping for some confirmation on that one, Susato, but nope. You can just ignore me like you always do. Oh, ketchup stain. Yes, they spilled ketchup on their brand new ancient Gothic Victorian iPhone camera. Sounds like a very messy person. Wow, there's a machine here too? 23rd October, Enoch Drebber's workshop. Who would eat over their well, there's people who would eat over their cameras. It's not too surprising, actually. That looks like... Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Indeed, it would appear so, though only a prototype, naturally. Ah, so you got here then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You've really worked miracles. It's Toby who's the miracle worker. I'm glad his lines are voiced.
Ah, I thought you lot would show up before long.
Why are his eyes so closed? Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Certainly not. We didn't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate.
According to what Gina tells me, we've only found it thanks to a clue that...
Wow, I totally lost the... It's gotta be gruffer. Sorry. I really want my voices to get better.
According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
Oh, because it's sour, that's why his eyes is like that, I think? I'm not so sure. Honestly, I think it's just... Like, he normally... He normally never eats his fish and chips sour, right? I think it's just, like he said, he doesn't want to leave a debt unpaid, so maybe he feels kind of bad that he's telling us stuff. So he's just, like, frustrated or something. He's just like, Or maybe he's just mad that Gina found it and he didn't. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. Maybe he's just sad that he has to move to Paris and leave all of his wonderful friends behind. Oh, salty? Maybe salty. That's possibly true, too. Sounds a lot more possible. Thank you.
Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak.
Them again?
I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to loyal types.
Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance.
And you, James.
Pardon?
They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers.
Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. I'm glad he has a disguise to work with, at least. Right then, let's see what we can find in here. Alright, let's examine. First, let's examine these crossbow bolts. It's a European-style quiver of arrows, with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose?
Crossbow bolts, these. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds.
In other words...
Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the Hose scam.
There we go. Alright, what else can we look at? This trophy seems important. No! I clicked on nothing. There we go. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive-looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. You can just hear Sholmes like, this fucking idiot. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. Ryu, come on, absolutely. It was really funny, I forgot, I think it was the last case, when we were looking at teacups, and Ryu kept talking about how, it was like a British device for holding hot liquids, and he said it like over and over. And eventually, Susato like lost her shit, and she's like, "It's called a fucking teacup." Like, obviously she didn't say it like that, but the dialogue, like, it just came out so naturally. Like, it's a fucking teacup, Naruhodo. Come on, you're pissing me off here. It was very amusing. I enjoyed that. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Trevor than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not gonna let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Alright, more clues! Alright, what the hell are you looking at? This thing? Do we need to look at this thing? We're gonna look at this thing anyway. The way you said it is better. Thanks! I appreciate that. I should have saved the clip, but... yeah, it just... I went off a little bit, just off script. It was really amusing, though. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it, from the Crown and the government. Yeah. Tell that to them. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bone for Turbia, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Susato. Hey, that ain't fair. I know, they're checking out everything without me. It's sad. The ladder. Sure, let's check the cabinet, I guess. What on earth is this? Oh, it's a wardrobe. Oh, the airplane. An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies. Is that how the trick will be described, is it? Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, this model is, yes, but a real aeroplane would actually fly high in the sky. While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported. So to you, the solution is ever taller towers. I think he was trying to imply a hint or something. I can't. Gregson's done. This thing looks done, but what am I missing? I checked everything up here, right? Yep, that's all done. This door. Let's go through the door. Oh. This door doesn't want to open. That ain't fair. Yep. I assume you were talking about them checking it out while Susato was like, no, you can't do that, Naruhodo. But it's okay, I'd let Susato slam me all day. Yeah, it looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way over here from the yard, so hands off till he gets here.
With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute.
Well, you don't have permission. And no one's giving it to you.
Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Thud. Oh. Something wrong, Mr. Sato? Well, I thought I heard a noise. From the far side of that door. Well, Jaina, did you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Exactly.
Right, mind the grease. Whoever's in there, open up. This is Scotland Yard.
Can someone go outside, like, check the back door, make sure this dude ain't running away? Oh my, someone is in there.
God, this rotten bleeding lot.
My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute.
Fine, I'll take the rat for it. Just get us through that blasted door.
There, you may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for?
Nothing thought, I suppose. This is an emergency.
There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes! Quick time events, let's go! I didn't know they were throwing that into this game. Oh god. What's happened in here? Why is everything upside down? Oh wow. Literally everything is upside down. Chair, bed, wardrobe, cabinet, lamp. The only thing not upside down is the safe. And that looks like it was bolted to the floor, though. There's shoe prints on the ceiling. What the fuck? Rats, they ain't no one in yet after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away. But there's only one door into this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling?
Blow me, what have we here then?
I feel like everyone's missing the bomb in the middle of the room. I feel like that would be point number one. Finger guns. Hell yeah, Venom. Let's go. That's how we operate. Bam, bam.
Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what?
To that Professor Hairbrain's bombing machine, is it? Blimey! If we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal.
There is something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too. There we go. Someone's finally looking at the thing that I'm worried about, sitting right there in the friggin' middle of the room. But actually, I kind of want to know about the safe. What's going on with this safe? That's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose. It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruhodo. Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose. I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important. Why is the whole room upside down? This is so weird. I'm gonna do the bomb last, because I feel like it's gonna rush me out of the room. That's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon. I think it's probably by staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon using gas. A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Oh, is this where he planned the whole thing? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? Wow, I am on top of where they want me to be, clearly. The game's like, we need to get the players to understand this at this point, and I'm sitting here getting this at this point. It's fucking great. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints. Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be there. Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean? I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo. That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. This just why is everything upside down? Because that's an... yeah. Almost every piece of furniture is upside down. Oh, whoops. That's her voice. Sorry, my nose is starting to run. I'm just hoping it's not bleeding. I got my first bloody nose, like, 5 days ago. And it threw me off. It was really weird. Almost every piece of furniture is upside down. Even Mr. Sholmes' suite isn't ever in this much of a mess. You're in no position to comment on mess, Mr. Naruhodo. But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se. It's that everything is literally upside down. But why? Yeah, the bomb. I see the bomb. I'm going to click on the bomb in a second. Click on Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, yes, in my point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see, I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped... Miss Susato, what's the matter? That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What did you say?
A time bomb? Sorry, but... What is a time bomb, exactly?
Eh?
You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't know nothing, do you, Otto? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then what is it? I see, so that's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. Yeah, deduction time, let's go! It is absolutely deduction time, let's go. We're gonna figure out how this room got all upside down. But anyway, but I have learnt to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Miss Susato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you... And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is without question completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. He's sour again. Look at that face. Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh, you deflected the Inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Miss Susato. Oh, yes, I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Erlach Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is a hand. I mean a foot. Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? I see something right there anyway. Indeed, the key is here. Gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Miss Susato. I, too, was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device almost identical to one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion by some time later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Because gravity was reversed. That seems far-fetched. Topic 2. Missing engineer. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room. Excepting the skylight, that is. Ah. By inverting the gravity in here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling, and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered, with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Please don't tell me he's going to set off the bomb. Escaped via the skylight. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Yeah. Upside-down gravity, I find that hard to believe. If instantaneous kinesis is not a thing, I don't think anti-gravity's a thing, buddy. And Gina doesn't care. She's got Toby. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there is just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean. I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. So he's saying, fuck no, his deduction was just full of crap. Why is he doing this? But your whole deduction hinges... Okay, so at least I'm not the only one thinking that. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was... clumsy. Collapse. Awesome, but nope. Close, but no thick cigar. Ugh. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Miss Susato lent me once. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, in lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find do ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. An argument is as circular as the coils of rope, which means it goes nowhere. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the Great Detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yep, you're right. And we must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it. Alright, let's try this one again. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness. The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. This is where we're going to back up a bit. To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility. So, yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oof, that's unusually merciless of you, Susato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows us exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Let's just turn... Okay. I saw this, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this still on? Well, well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Ah, look at that! I know, that slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me. Is it because it's standing upright? I think it's because it's standing upright. But what else can I look at? Just inverted furniture. Inverted furniture. Inverted furniture. Large safe. No, it's definitely the upright vase, I'm sure. Alright. Slow motion sounds. Let's go. The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you surpassed yourself by completely turning away my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes, trust me. As you rightly say, though, it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down. This unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Sorry. I'm on a roll here. Hey, Casual, how you doing? I am doing well. I just got back from my vacation. I'm going to try to stream most of this week because I want to make up for it. I was supposed to do my marathon last week, but I became busier than I expected, so, you know, I had to cancel that, and I'll do it some other time. But yeah, for now, yeah, just back to work, back to streaming, back from vacation. But yeah, how are you doing, Casual? How are your streams going? Have you finished Sekiro yet? Because I do stop by once in a while you're playing that if I'm, doing other stuff, but because I love Sekiro, I need to play that one again. You love upright things? I know you do, Casual. We all love upright things, Giggity. I mean, I think you know where I'm going with this, Giggity. So, but yeah, I am enjoying Ace Attorney. Yes, I mean, unfortunately, it's the third chapter of the last one I haven't played, so it'll be a while before I get to return to any Ace Attorney games, I'm sure. But I'm looking forward to that day when it does come. Oh god, my hair's getting messy. Whatever. Glad to hear about more streams. How was vacation? It was cool. Just busy, very busy. I was busier than I thought I'd be, so. But it was still nice to not have to worry about work, because the work is the one thing in my life that just drains my soul. So it was good to recover, essentially. I have not finished yet doing the Mortal Journey right now. The Mortal Journey? What's the Mortal Journey? Is it like a segment of the game? Because I never separated the game by segments. It was just kind of like that area, that area, that area. But yeah, I do try to lurk once in a while. Important to recharge the batteries? Absolutely. Absolutely important. Because I get burned out so fast, and if you don't recharge the damn batteries, then you're not gonna make it. 17 bosses in a row. I beat all the stories working on the boss rushes. Ah, okay. Damn. I hope you succeed in that, man. "17 bosses in a row without dying? Or do you get to die?" If it's without dying, that seems even harder, but yeah, how's your week been, Casual? How was your weekend? What have you been up to? It's good to see you again. I'm glad you stopped by, sir. You and me and Drew still have to play Turtles, I think. Although I think I saw you playing Turtles the other day. But, you know, that one's